Alright, what's popular YouTube? Another day, another demo. Today we're going to be watching Starry, and I want to get into the game while we talk, because obviously it's been some time. I recorded a game with Shiro last. It's been about 3 days, and here we are really watching Starry 1v5 against G2. If you watch the game, of course, this is a spoiler, but it was an absolutely insane round here from Starry. In this game, in the first pistol round, the second half, Lynn Vision versus G2. A team that qualified to the Blast Showdown in place of Vici Gaming, and they were a sub for that team who went to go play for the RMR, and they impressed. They won this map of Vertigo 16-14, and Starry won a 1v5 in the second half, and I think got 14 kills in the second half after having a 3-kill first half. Like a total bounce back on the first map when they needed it, and he was the top performer on his team, one of the top performers across all the maps. Look at this running Molotov throw as he reads the rotation from G2. And what's already so sick about this round was how he figured out how G2 were going to play the 2v1, trusted the read, and immediately started running over towards B. And here in this spot in the 1v1, of course, Nexa is going to be coming for his head, but he chokes, he misses a few shots, and then Starry needs to give himself a way to exit. And now he knows that, okay, the bomb was probably going to get defused, or at least an attempt. And yeah, he has 4 Glock headshots so far, but he can't find that last one. He sees the feed of Nexa, and he knifes Nexa for a 0.05 second left on the fuse kill. And, okay, we got some, hopefully there's going to be some more all chat. Earlier on, when this game started, we had a lot of the guys were big fans of Nico, and they were saying Super Nico. They're calling him Super Nico and giving him a lot of praise because they are, I guess, you know, huge fans. And this is the first time I'd have ever seen Lynn Vision play, period. But after learning about them and seeing that they actually have been a real competitor for Tai Lu, as well as second string to, I guess, Vici in China, and now get a chance to play because of the RMR, it's truly exciting stuff to be able to witness this, because not only did they pull off this one map, it wasn't off of luck and it wasn't off of random plays. They put together a very solid game plan in both halves, and we're going to see some of that here on the T side as they create their approaches, how they split attention, how they attack sites, and they have good timings, they had strong grenades, and they push G2 to their absolute limit. And on Inferno, that was equally as interesting. And Starry and another rifle were here, and they were more of those kind of Yuri-style riflers of, man, you can see the impact is starting to rack up every time you press tab there, over 180 AR kills every single round. But by the end of the game, it didn't really strike you know how much impact really there was compared to a player like Zacher, who's also on this team as the opper and has done so damn well. So yeah, now we just have an anti-eco, the bomb gets planted, and this is super solid stuff. Me and Connor were casting this just an hour ago, and of course I didn't really explain. I'm here, this is the blast warehouse, okay? In front of me and all around me, while we go through this anti-eco, is just basically a bunch of empty area where they might build the blast stage, a bunch of production tents and stuff like that. And yeah, it's not the most ideal setup for me to record the videos, but I need to get these videos out somehow, and we don't have a PC in the hotel again. So hopefully that'll be fixed for the next time we're here. But for the meantime, we're still going to make it work. We're going to make the videos come out. So it was such an amazing chance to be able to cast this game, because when we were in the cab, Maniac looked over at us and he's like, man, you guys got an easy day today. 32 rounds is what he said. And then what did we get instead? We got 30 rounds on map 1 and a win for Lynn Vision. A win for Lynn Vision. It filled my heart with joy, you know, to be able to see an Asian team or a team from a different region finally pull off an upset again, or even just have a chance. Because when I first started out casting Star Ladders and the Epicenters and the old events that would take place, nasty shot, I would always get the chance to be able to see a couple of Asian teams come and play versus some of the top tier European competition. And you know, there was some parity there, and you know, getting to see Tai Lu play for the first time in qualifiers, or getting to see Brazil play for the first time in qualifiers, or getting to see NA pull off upsets. I mean, that for me is what Counter-Strike is all about. I mean, I love how far the game has been pushed within the European CIS regions, and how strong the level of competition is, but it's also created a really great rift between that area and the rest of the world. But what Lynn were able to show today is that that gap can be closed even if you don't have the available practice in your area, which is something that many teams in history have been able to prove, but obviously don't get a lot of chances to do it, and most of them fail. So I really didn't think at this point in history, where it has been the least promising for Asian CS and the least promising for the NA scene and all this stuff, that we'd get a team that could achieve those heights. And this team has an average. Starry, that we're watching right now, is 16 years old and just 1v5 G2. A feat that most people will never do. First of all, most people will never 1v5 G2. Most people will never pull off a 1v5 in a professional match. And certainly not when the pressure is on in a match like this, where it's a best of 3 in the actual event. Like, this is the showdown. This is not a qualifier. So, you know, nothing but amazing things to say, and so happy to have been able to witness this alongside Connor and get a taste of what it was. Reminded me what it was like to be casting CS on an international level for the first time years back, because I love casting not just because I get to get a closer look at the games and be a part of those great moments, but also because I get to travel to new places, meet new people, and also in relation to Counter-Strike, you get a chance to witness different styles of Counter-Strike from different parts of the world. And at a certain point, there becomes all of these small advantages that come from these top teams that they use against each other in a number of mind games, and it ends up being a lot of the same stuff wrapped up slightly differently. But in this game, what we saw was, you know, really, really tailored CS to the competition. Like, they were able to look like a European team, but they also still brought in their own flavor with the different types of pushes they pulled off, and we also just showcased just brand new talent. Starry 16, average age of like just over 20 between the 5 of these players. This is the next generation of Chinese talent right here. And of course, there are still great players on Tyloo and Vici, who are the #1 team in the region. But this just goes to show you that we can't sleep on them right now. And at least for China, their scene has gotten a lot bigger in the last year or so, with them establishing Perfect World and a lot more players playing. Of course, we've known that the skin market has blown up quite drastically because of China, and also the population of players. I went on Bilibili, which is the kind of Twitch of China, to watch their streamers play, and I thought the website was like so funny, because they have a stream, they have the text from the chat that appears to be like flying across the screen on the top, and I can't read Mandarin, so I'm not exactly sure what anybody was saying. But then the streamers are just like all decked out with the craziest skins, and they were just running matchmaking games and playing CS, and like they play CS like nothing like we see when we watch regular streams in Europe or NA. But it was so entertaining and so strange and so different and so cool to be able to expose myself to that world. This was actually an amazing play from Zacher in this spot. In a 2v2 in the B site, the bomb's down, but they know the rotation's close by, and instead of just going for the plant and paying the post plant, Zacher finds an opportunity to come in and push for the kill, and he has his teammate scale with him here at X-Pro. And then look at this, Jax gets a kill with an HE, so he follows the trajectory, boosts up, and takes Jax out, and Jax thinks that he's going to wrap around because that would be the safe play. And Zacher made so many key moves like this in this map that made, again, this so compelling and amazing to watch. But of course, we are here still just to watch Starry, and I have just talked over a lot. I can't even remember exactly all the stuff that Starry did. I just looked back at the stats and I was like, we got to watch the demo with the 1v5 on the pistol round, because that was just so sick. And yeah, I mean, I can't watch that enough times. I couldn't find his settings, so this demo's got it's like a desktop view model on 1024, and I think he might have been on black bars, but I just stretched it just in case. Here in this round, he throws the op out after Zacher dies because no one else wants to hold it, and they're going up against the anti-eco. And Westmelon here kills the guy on top of the boost and then flicks down to spam Jax at the bottom of the boost as well. And I just like to pay attention to a few rounds, a few things about these rounds as we near the end of the game. And that's that we're seeing like a really good level when it comes to time management, scaling, angle peeking. They move slowly, but just efficiently enough at the same time that they never seem to get into time trouble. And they also were able to earn the space that they need to get up into the executed into the areas that they need to execute. And we see a lot of strong angles being held, a lot of good positions being played, and that's what was so damn impressive for me, again, versus a team that I really just had no expectations for, like most people didn't, of course, right? So it makes me feel better to know that that I think a lot of us were pretty surprised to see how good they are. But shout out to those who have been watching some of their matches and their qualifiers and stuff like that in China. Stay up for those games and support these different smaller regions. But yeah, this is what Counter-Strike is all about for me. So this is super awesome to watch. If you go on Reddit, actually, they have a comms video of the 1v5. I'll play that at the end of the video, where he does the 1v5 pistol, and it was uploaded on Faceit, and you can hear the comms and the reaction and the excitement and everything like that. Oh, so this Molotov actually landed on short shelf on the A site. So Almanac was opping there, and they made sure to molly that on the A site, keep Starry here, pull the rotation in, Starry holds it, and then they take the A site with the other 3 players over on A. And this was the moment that I was like, wait, they can actually win. Like, they're actually good enough to pull this off. So they pull off that split super calmly. We're up 12-10. They go back, and again, Vertigo is a lot about walking, a lot about establishing control, a lot about taking the A ramp effectively without getting opt, which is a huge thing. And in a lot of these rounds, they just trusted Zacher to go and peek things over by himself. And oftentimes he got the kill. And Almanac spent a lot of time over at B and mid looking for opening duels that they didn't get. And here, again, we see really good awareness when it comes to the rest of the map. They didn't try to one-trick it. They didn't rush up through the A ramp repeatedly. They didn't pull the same strat twice, I think a single time. And they also brought different tempos and flavors to their execs. They didn't just constantly work map control slowly. They really fell off when it came to watching Nuke. But that was map 3, and it might have been hard to prepare all the way to the decider. But on maps 1 and 2, Vertigo and Inferno, they were super well prepared. And I'd love to watch Inferno, even in a demo if we can. Do whatever I can, honestly, to support some of the players that are playing from a region that doesn't get much love, of course. And here again, we're very, very careful, right? Starry's kind of lurking in a lot of these rounds. His teammates are entering onto the site, and that's actually probably why I didn't notice so much where his kills were coming from. But he was very, very careful to make sure to hold all the right positions for as much time as he needed to. And another situation where I'm on a PC out in the open, and it's brand new, and I just set everything up, down on HLTV, brought my OBS files, like all this garbage. So I hope everything will end up working out properly, and that this this video is going to have good audio levels and stuff like that. See the look on mid control. I love to see nades and stuff like that, nades like that, because it shows that they've been watching demos about where G2's positions are going to be. A couple of times where Nexa was called out in this position, holding on the B site, and we'll see a round that's really important in that regard way later on. And I honestly haven't even seen anyone throwing this molly. I'm sure people are. I just haven't noted this spot, but this was a position that Starry netted a kill in because they were so convinced it was mainly A pressure. And so he sits back up here as his teammates go to entry into B, and you can see he's trying to control the middle of the map most of the time, make sure that he'll never give this up, so it'll never turn into a flank, and then also he can throw some supporting grenades, and in the early round set up on A with his teammates and make sure that his op has support. So let's see how he plays the lurk. 25 seconds. This is a sketchy position, of course, to enter onto a site when it's almost this late. And I think Starry actually pulls one out here. I think he does find a nice opening, but with 10 seconds up, he's got to make like an enormous play, and Nico stops him from a position that almost should have been clearable. So Nico turning in that spot was huge. Trusted his teammate, and Zacher didn't have time to win, even though he got 2 kills. There was 1 left to get. So this is the art smoke that gets thrown out, and a flash that's not incredibly effective for the A ramp, but helps for the players who are trying to approach it. And they're trying to push up aggressively for the map control. And once again, you can see he's just the guy. It's crazy because he's 16 years old, and they're like trusting him with the responsibility of literally lurking and basically having to clutch sometimes, which is awesome to watch. And oh, I might be using my crosshair. Oh shit, I might be using my crosshair. Oh, no, I'm using his. Oh my god, I have like such a similar crosshair. All right, so here's a spot. Minute up, we're holding the flanks. We're posted up, outpost positions here on the A ramp, right? We're holding short shelf. We're waiting for a re-aggression on the A ramp. We're calm. We're calm. We're not freaking out. We're not pushing the round faster than it needs to go. And look at this. They perfectly wrap onto short control to put pressure on the site, clear out the angles properly here, have great spacing to trade. They can throw the molly down again, and now they have a position where they can actually put the bomb down. And I don't think that this is a one round yet, because Hunter actually comes in, peeks up, kills Bingo on the ramp, and Starry's open up to put together the clutch, but Hunter is just too sick, hits that instant headshot, and this puts Lynn in a more compromising spot, right? They have a lot less money left over, and I think it's 3 buys in a row that G2 are trying to be able to claw through before they can earn themselves an eco round, but it looks like they might do it. And as silly as it sounds, I do love to see how much emphasis is put on mid control. Can be kind of intimidating to try to take it because of the number of off angles available to fight with. But again, they have good grenades. They layer that flash with the Molotov to try to defend against Heaven. And Nico actually stands in the Molotov and then fights through the box to make sure Zacher can't even peek. Before Zacher even peeked, he killed him. So that was an insane kill from Nico. And that's where I thought, man, maybe actually G2 will actually... Maybe G2 will win this. Maybe I got ahead of myself. G2 are still going to have the edge. Nico is still going crazy. It'll be too difficult. And the craziest part of all, Starry is on trial with the team. He doesn't have a contract. I think after that 1v5, after this performance is best of 3 versus a team like G2, I think there's no question. Like, there's no better test, and there's no other player that can be tested in the same way anytime soon. You have to stick with Starry. This kid literally is so good. He's shown so much promise. But even as a whole team, look how they move. Covering the positions, right? Perfect refrags here. Not overextending, not wasting all of his bullets. Getting out, and this was a mistake. I think Westmillan accidentally smoked it off short shelf, which made too much pressure on the ramp because short shelf can't push. And now 13-13, I was like, okay, yeah, this is going to be quite difficult. So we do have an eco at some point in this game. I can't remember if it's now, but they invest a little bit of money. We have an HE here. We get bottom B control. There's a punish grenade that comes down. We're just walking to see if anybody walks out onto the grates. And this position, Nexa was in that spot at one point. I think there it is. Nexa does show up, and Zacher comes in from the mid flank, and they get a trade. Again, perfect spacing, perfect timing on the exec. It's not easy to get one over on a team like G2 like that. And this is beautiful, actually. And again, we're watching on HLAE, so whoever I'm spectating is who Starry was spectating in this clutch moment. And Zacher pulled this off, that spray, with no armor. No armor. X-Pro right behind him. Now he doesn't need to peek. Timing's down. And he's actually fine because there's no chance to get back on the bomb. Less than 5 seconds. 14 rounds won with an eco after 3 rifle rounds won in a row from G2. That is strength. Pimp was actually saying that he played against some of these players on Lynn Vision in Face It with 200 ping from China, and he was destroying Pimp. That's what Pimp tweeted. And Semphis said the exact same thing, actually, from NA. So one way or another, they were out to get some good experience, and they weren't going to let ping stop them. Now here's obviously a position where after 3 rifle rounds, 1 eco is good enough to get Lynn Vision back in the game. They got a full buy for themselves, and it's a mixed buy here for G2. And again, pay attention to the entrying and the spacing. They're doing such a good job of making sure to stay together at all times. A lot of great grenades, a lot of composure. Nobody's freaking out. You can tell that the communication's good, and the coverage is even better. Zacher stands behind the bomb plant, takes down a lurking CT, and it's just Nexa alive. He gets traded out, and here we are potentially onto the last round of the game. After they get smoked A ramp, we would like to see a little bit of pressure, but at the same time, if they don't give any clues away, there's still always a chance that if B wasn't pushed, that B could be exec upon, and so it can be a mind game to not do anything through a smoke, just as much as it is to put a lot of pressure through a smoke with 1 player or 2 players and have 3 working the other side of the map. Everything can be a read, and everything can be a fake. Back to mid again. It looks like they're going to try to exec on a wrap towards heaven, because that's a powerful, powerful strat on Vertigo. I'm not sure who's throwing nades in this position. But the other thing I thought was fantastic was when they were entering, they did a sick job of not getting tunnel visioned on the single kill. So whoever showed up first didn't necessarily need to be the guy that everybody tried to swing on. They were aware that there would be more players in the site. They were always prepared for the specific positions they might be in and all the setups that G2 had. You could tell the preparation came through. So actually off the mid control, they are going for their A hit, and it's hard to read. They're building off of these, they're stemming off of these splits. Whenever they are taking A, they're still involving mid. Whenever they're taking B, they're involving mid. And that's also making it hard to read. And it looks like actually a lurk might be caught. Okay, it almost doesn't matter now because he's just got no help in this spot, and it's back to Tech 9s, and it's back to Tech 9s. I think they had 3 Galils. Starry's only got a Tech 9, and I thought this was such a sick round as well. I don't know what Starry sees from his screen, but as we set up, we've got Nexa down on the stairs, and then I think we have Jax just a little bit. Or not, Jax would be on A. They've got a Hunter at the top of the stairs, and they clear both these players out. Bingo grabs 1. Nexa stays alive, but they end up just drilling him through the wood, and they completely dismantle the lower B setup with a mid-split involved and end up taking the site. Jax is coming in for the 1v4, but the game is already done. There is no chance for him here, and that's it. So, you know, let me put this into perspective. Okay, this is Lynn Vision versus G2, and Lynn Vision before this game started, and hopefully the HLTV rankings haven't come up so quickly, but rank 117 team, rank 117 versus G2, who are right now in the top 5. One of the most insane upset maps that I've ever watched because of how well Lynn played, how gimmickless they played, and how insanely skillful some of their individuals were, including Zacher, Westmelon, and Starry. And I just want to make this video as a showcase for them because this was such an inspirited performance. And over on Inferno, I think we had a pistol round. They got Lynn Vision got ecoed after the first pistol round, so they won that. And then they also lost the second pistol round in the first 5 in the second half, and still made it damn competitive. And I would actually like to look at Zacher in the second half because there were a couple of mistakes that I felt like he made that could be very instructive, while he was also still quite impactful. And we could talk about that as well. Just it's awesome that they were able to play. Now they won't be playing again in the Blast Showdown, because it's cutthroat. It's best of 3 single elimination. And actually right beside me over in this big tent, Anders and Maui are casting right now for the OG versus Pain game. I just assumed that OG would be able to win it, but It's always pain for OG fans, so I was also a little bit nervous. So I don't know if that was going to happen for sure, but yeah, there's lots of 9Z have beat Liquid before, or I think it was maybe Dignitas or 9Z have beat Liquid and knocked them out of the Showdown in round 1. They're a team we need to watch. If you guys haven't seen my video on Try, I recommend watching that. When a prodigious opera from Argentina, he was 16 years old the last time when I made the demo. And then there's the chance of Mad Lions beating Evil Geniuses. Movie Star Riders qualified to the major. They'll be a threat. And a lot of great games happening in the Showdown. Again, single elimination. They play 1 best of 3. You go through, and if you win 3 best of 3s, you have made it to the fall finals, which is actually fantastic. 2 spots to give up here for the teams on either side of the bracket. So make sure to come and watch Blast. And yeah, I'm not sure when this video will come out, but thanks for watching. And I know this is a bit raggedy to set up and make a video like this, and I'm sure the audio or something is not going to be great in this video, but I just wanted to make sure to get something going so we can upload. And I'll be back at home for the major, so I'll be able to upload. And I think I'm going to try to upload like every single day for the last 2 months of the year or something like that, depending on how much traveling I do, and I will do some. But hopefully in the future I'll have like a proper computer set up in a hotel, and I can get my content done, and we can upload lots and keep this going. But yeah, awesome day. So I just wanted to share that with you. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.